Hey guys, welcome back to Math Garage. Today I got some new parts in the mail. Well, a new part. This is a Milwaukee battery adapter, so that way I can power the lights of my big pit bike off of another Milwaukee battery. Now, the little pit bike already has an adapter on it, which I use adapter really loosely. My old 8-year-old Milwaukee drill died, so I took a Sawzall to the bottom of it and just repurposed the existing connector. And I figured since it worked so well on the mini bike, I might as well buy a proper adapter this time around for the big bike. The other side of this little upgrade for the pit bike is that I want to build a rack over the rear fender so I can attach our big jerry can, because me and my buddy Mac, we want to ride the pit bikes as far as we can down a hydro field, and just by having the extra, $20 in gas, we can go so much further than we expect. Just off of $2 in gas, we can fill this tank with premium fuel. So if we could put a $20 tank on the back of this thing, we can go for miles. So to get started, I'm going to prep the leads on this adapter. I've got my trusty wire strippers. I'm going to strip them, make sure that it's regular copper wire and not like tin or anything. And then I've got my soldering iron out so I can pre-tin the edges. And then we will go over to the bike and cut off the adapter that I made for a DeWalt battery, which is literally just two flat pieces of metal that slid into the positive and negative post. And then we will solder those together using some heat shrink tube to make sure it's nice and watertight. So after prepping the leads on the adapter and the bike, this adapter has countersunk holes in it, which are going to allow me to drill holes into the frame of the bike and tap them so I can just bolt it straight onto the frame, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. With the mini bike, it actually is zip tied in place, which is, it holds, but it's not as good as it could be. Now that we've prepared these leads, we need to do the same thing on the wires that are currently attached to the bike. Goodbye, DeWalt clips. Hello, Milwaukee. Now, the only reason for that is I've owned Milwaukee tools, okay? And my buddy owns DeWalt tools. My buddy really wanted us to go riding at night. Well, unfortunately, I didn't have anything to hook up to the battery. So we just clamped down some flat plates and hooked them up to his existing DeWalt battery because he had one that was fully charged. And as a result, the lights worked. It was great for off-roading at night. It was just a matter of getting my own adapter for it. So I've cut some heat shrink tube and slid them down on the positive and negative leads of the battery adapter. So the plan is to use this alligator clip to just kind of clamp the wires in place so that I can get the soldering iron over here and have them permanently bonded with some solder. grab the heat torch and we'll shrink these tubes over top of the solder, and then we have a permanent connection. Then we can figure out about drilling some holes into the side of this and getting the battery mount somewhere on this frame. I decided against using the blowtorch because I thought that might just melt the wires, so I just grabbed a trusty lighter. Good old Bic. Now I can guarantee if I go mudding or riding through the snow, it's not going to short anything for my electrics. And having the electrics on its own circuit is a totally great idea in my head, because I don't have to worry about the light stop working if the engine stops. But so far, knock on wood, these engines have just taken a beating and not cared. They just keep going. Obviously, you know, regular maintenance after a ride is necessary. I still need to clean this one off from the previous ride. It is caked with mud. But, you know, a little bit of upgrades doesn't hurt before we go mudding again. Might as well clean it off when it's warm out, not when it's freezing. Next task, let's find some bolts through my piles of stuff so we can drill and tap some holes. And I was thinking about mounting it just vertically, just to make it easier to slide the battery on and off. And if it mounts directly to here, then I can grab some zip ties and clean up all the extra wire. The cool thing with this adapter is it actually came with a 10 amp fuse. And it came with a couple extra fuses. Sorry, these are 30 amps, but still, it came with fuses, so I'm not going to damage any of my lights should something short. So I found these. Now these are relatively small, but they're hex, and they fit the profile of the adapter almost perfectly, but I'll never be able to get a socket on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp them into the bench vise and turn this hex nut into a flathead screw, because they go through far enough to where I can drill and tap the frame and they will actually hold on really well. That should take a flathead now. All right, so I've got all the tools out and got it all prepped. I have my trusty pencil here, so we can at least mark it, and then I'll grab my center punch and drill the holes out. Then we'll tap them, and then we'll screw this bad boy down and turn on the lights and show you what we're working with. Those are pretty much dead on. Test fit. Let's see how close we got them. Threads are a little fucking off. Oh no, that's pretty close. Those are pretty close to the same angle, which means grab a flathead screwdriver. You should go right in. I think we're going to take this one back to the grinder real quick, because that's just not leaving me much room to work with. All right, we fixed up that screw a little bit. Now it's a deeper thread, so I can actually use the screwdriver on it. One, and two. There we go. All right, now that we've got this installed, let's slap a battery on there and take a look at what the lights look like. As you can see, got a fully charged Milwaukee battery. Gotta love these for their little readouts. And this guy here, this is perfect. It's solid. So, I think it's off. Yeah, it's an O. So you'll see exactly why I do it like this. It's on there, pull it off and charge it. Not a big deal. But now, the grand reveal, my headlights and my tail lights. Giver. Look how bright those are. This is made for off-roading. This is fantastic. Obviously, I should probably align them so they are not pointed in random directions, but that's only step one of this video. Step two is to build a cart on the back, like a little rack that I can like bungee cord strap this gas tank to. So when we go out for a rip, we have that extra, $20 to $30 in gas and go as far as we can. That's gonna be a good video. Another day back in the shop. We recently finished the light upgrade for the big pit bike. I am single-handed today. I don't have a camera person, so we're going back to the old-fashioned format. I've acquired some old recycled bed frame, and if any other of you guys are makers, you'll know that bed frame is basically free angle iron. Nice, thick, strong angle iron. So we're gonna start off by cutting up the angle iron so it's just straight bars instead of having all the legs and the wheels, etc. And then we're going to break out the old trusty tape measure so we can measure the jerry can and then figure out where it's gonna fit on the pit bike. That should be enough iron to get us started. This big long bar plus those two bars when I need them, that should be enough to actually create the box underneath. Now we're gonna just probably time lapse the daunting task that is measuring the gas tank. So the tank is 15 1/4 by 8.5. And I think just for now, I'm only gonna make a box in the bottom shape. And these videos are coming out not in chronological order because some projects take longer than others. So we're gonna try to use the miter saw again. And I say this because it didn't work out on one of the last videos where I exploded a disc because the disc that was in it was made for aluminum and not steel. Now I've got a steel disc in there, so hopefully it goes a little better. But what I want to do is cut these to length with 45-degree miters on them. So this way, when the edges are connected, I can just have a nice solid weld along the inside seam and the back. That way I know it's not gonna break under load. Or could you imagine this tank being full and you're going through a rocky area or a real bumpy area and it just breaks and you lose your tank somewhere? That would be frustrating. Plus then you'd have to like carry it back with you on a handle, and that's kind of dangerous. I mean, we've probably done worse, but still. So let's get the angle iron that we just chopped up. We'll get some measurements done on them, mark them with the pencil, set up the miter to 45 and start cutting. I don't want to spatter my welder with sparks, so I'm just gonna move it for now. The irony of that is the welder causes the most sparks, but at least it's not on it. We'll get that cleaned up a little bit, little burrs on the ends, but that's what we need. We need another one of these and then 2 8 1/4 pieces, and then we'll start welding. That's all the pieces cut. Now we can set up the workbench and box them together and start welding. Pieces all sanded up, nice and clean. Let's get some magnets out and get these squared up and start welding. Now, I also noticed that having the welder on the floor, I have a lot more workbench space, so it's gonna make this job a little bit easier. So I think I might just leave it on the floor and, you know, just for now, until I can build a welding rack for it. But, yeah, this is gonna be nice. We'll tack weld it at first just to make sure it's all square, and then we'll go through and fill in the seams and make it nice and plumb. Make it thick and strong. That's starting to look pretty good. Let's grab the magnets. All right, that's pretty damn square. Oh, wow, I'm really proud of this one. We weld the undersides. The reason I'm doing the welding on the undersides is because I don't want any weld in here to possibly protrude the jerry can. Now I know the jerry can has rounded corners, that's fine and dandy, but I want the inside to stay square because later, if we're not carrying a jerry can, I could potentially put build a toolbox that will slide into this nicely. Okay, that should be good. Let's get the grinder out, clean this up, and we'll see how it looks. Wow, I'm impressed with myself. Look how clean that is. All right, let's size it up. Let's get the jerry can over here and see how it fits. It's a little tight on the front and back, but I can always just, I can pry it apart once it's welded to the frame. You'll notice a change of wardrobe. It's another day. Last time we finished the box, and since the box is done, we now need to prep the other two pieces of angle iron so we can create a mount for the pit bike. Now, my plan is to just create some 45-degree angles so that this is on the back of the pit bike with some bars coming off to hit the frame of the bike from underneath, and then this will be welded to the back where the seat is. So let's get started with that. Currently mocking it up to kind of figure out where it's gonna go. I was thinking about just kind of mounting it here, but then, you know, the seat's gonna be in the way of the jerry can. So I'm definitely have to create some floats to put it way out here. To get started, I'm going to grind the paint off the inside of this, and I'll use more angle iron, but I'll cut it flat. Like I'll cut one of the walls off so that way a flat piece can go underneath here and weld this to this to make it nice and solid. I think that's pretty good. You got a 1.5 inch overhang underneath the bracket there. That'll give us 4 spots to put nice weld seams to make it nice and strong. So now what I gotta do is I gotta measure the back of the bike to see how far on this bar I need to cut. So this part will get welded to the bike. This part will be welded to the box that holds the toolbox or the jerry can. Now that we've got the 2 bars prepped, we're going to weld these to the box, and then we'll weld the box, weld these to the frame of the pit bike. That's welded to there. That's nice and solid now. So next, I'm gonna have to attach this to the bike frame. So I've tested the seat fit, and I know it works. I've got my big boy clamps out here so I can hold it up to the top bar here, because that's approximately where I want it. So obviously the clamps are gonna pull it down. There she goes. Yeah, my toolbox or jerry can holder for the back of my bike. Look at that, that's ready to ride. Thank you very much once again for tuning in to Matt's Garage. The lights on this big pit bike are fantastic now. A lot of stuff is happening with the channel. I have 3 projects on the go right now. This one is now finished, so that brings us down to 2. The lawn cart video, part 3, I believe, is coming out soon. I just need to buy a couple more pieces to kind of finish that and actually record some test riding footage. And another video that we're working on is for our mini quad. We're doing an engine swap on it. So we're going to be pulling out its electrical and its original engine, which is just a 110. We're going to be upgrading it to a 212. So expect that video within the next couple of weeks. I'm really happy with how this turned out, though. Being able to just attach a battery now and turning the lights on and off when I need to, and with the jerry can mounted to the back of the bike, we'll be able to go longer distances. That being said, I'd like to know from you guys, would you like to see riding videos? Because we just recently acquired some action cameras so we can get some helmet footage or bike footage and actually show you guys what these toys are good for. Now, I call them toys, but they're mini bikes, a ridiculously upgraded lawnmower, a quad, and only more to come. We're thinking, well, I'm thinking about getting some steel tube and trying to build something from scratch in the near future. But we'll see how that goes. So if you like this content, go ahead, leave a like. If you would like to see more, possibly subscribe if you haven't already. And maybe share it with some friends and family who might also find this content to be suitable for them. But thanks once again, and you have a good one.